Hey, welcome back to Whimsical Wednesdays with Bob Shell. Last week I put out a watercolor video about painting flowers and really didn't do much explaining. So this go around, my goal is to kind of talk you guys through my process and just kind of showing you how to layer watercolors, how to mix them properly, and also just really taking your time. So what we have here currently is just a regular piece of paper. Specifically, it's Bristol. In the descriptions, there will be a list of materials, or you can go back to the last Whimsical Wednesday watercolor video. So yeah, we have the paper, and we also have one of my favorite pencils. This one is specifically a B pencil. Really, you can use a number 2 pencil, or if you have your fancy sketching pencils, then go right on ahead and use it. So really, I'm just gonna talk you guys through my thought process on first with my sketch before I use watercolors. So again, we're gonna be doing flowers. So really, I just start off by doing really light figures. Yeah, when you're drawing flowers, you kind of have to be delicate when drawing them, because if you make too harsh of a line, really it's just gonna throw you off. And again, this really just takes practice. If you guys want, I can definitely do a video about just sketching in general. So as you can see, I'm just making a light oval and then drawing almost parenthesis-like symbols on each side of the oval to kind of give the flower itself a little body and a little bit of 3D motion. And if you want to, you can either, here I'll zoom in. You can use your pencil and you can just lightly color that in and then use your finger to rub it. Now again, this is just a guide. This is nothing permanent by any means. You just want to give yourself something to work with for when you feel comfortable going to watercolors. And when I'm drawing the petals, I'm also super loose. Here, I'll try again. Oval, parentheses on the side, and then with the stem, let's see here. Start from the base. I can make that clearer. Out and in. It's really simple. So now we just have 4 regular flowers. And yeah, if you want more with your sketch, you can definitely do that. Right now, this is what we're working on. All right, so once you have your desired drawing, next we're gonna do our first layer of watercolor. So the watercolor palette I have, it's like a regular watercolor palette with your basic colors. Specifically, it's a Praying Oval with 8 colors. Honestly, you can pick this up at Walmart or like your local art supply store. These are probably the best ones to use because you have space to like mix your colors, and then also you just have your basic colors, like they're not pre-mixed or anything like that, which is what you want. So I have a watercolor brush. I've had these for so many years, like it's seen better days. But you can just have a regular watercolor brush you can pick up from Walmart or Hobby Lobby, or again your local art store. You're gonna need a mason jar with water, and then also just paper towels to dab the extra water off of your brush. Yeah, so first thing I'm gonna do, wet my brush, dab it off a little bit on my paper towel. So the first color I actually want to do is I want to do like a nice burnt orange color. So I'm going to take my damp watercolor brush and just lightly mix, and then bring it over here to the side. When you're mixing your colors off to the side, it's really important that you have a white base so you can see your colors that you're mixing. So yeah, I'm just gonna bring some more color over here as much as you want or as little as you want, and also dilute it with water. That's the biggest step to your first layer of watercolor. You don't want it to be completely saturated in color, because if it comes off the wrong color, you can't pick it back up. So you want to start off as diluted with water as you possibly can. And then for that burnt orange feeling, I'm going to go in with my yellow and then mix it on the palette. Now it's lightening up a little bit. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm actually going to go for my brown just a little bit and mix it. I know it doesn't look too different, but you'll see the difference. Okay. I'm going to do this flower right here. I'm going to zoom in for you guys. Okay. So literally, strokes. See, I just went over it. I'm not super worried that it's staying in the lines or anything like that. It's just the first layer. And honestly, that's a little bit more than what I want, but it's okay. If you want, clean your brush off. You have nothing but water on your brush, and you can just kind of go back in and go over it. And just kind of lifts some of the color. Now I know I said earlier you won't be able to pick the color back up, but you can a little bit, just by putting water on your brush and then just going over it lightly. Don't do anything else to it. Okay. So our next color, we're gonna do like a red, almost. Okay, let's see. We're just gonna go right here, that's fine. Okay, again, clean brush, water, mix it. Now I'm gonna put it actually over here and mix it with some of the orange I had already put down. Makes like a nice reddish orange color. Again, dilute it with water as you're mixing it. And then we're going to do the next flower. Zoom in again. Just going up. See? It also doesn't matter if the colors touch. If they bleed together, that just makes it more of a natural painting. The key with watercolors, you have to be calm, but you also really shouldn't care. I know it doesn't make sense, but once you start practicing with watercolors, it'll make sense. So yeah, I'm just gonna go on ahead and color the other flowers a different color, and then we'll go on to our second layer of watercolor. Okay, so we're back. I'm not going to show you guys my palette because it's really just a repeat of the same things, mixing colors and just layering. So we already did our first layer, now we're going to do our second layer. Actually, I take that back. I might show you guys my palette here and there just to show you the different colors that I have. So yeah, let's go ahead and get to it. We're going to go ahead and go back to our orange flower. You're going to use your orange base, and then you're just going to mix it in the same space that we did before with our first layer. So again, get some water on your brush, go ahead and put it in that space to pick up all that color, Get your orange, mix it in together. Now we don't want to just use like a bright orange. You want it to actually blend in with our flower color that we already have. So to mute that color, we're going to mix it in again with some yellow. So we're going to mix it in with the yellow. And again, make sure that there is water in your color when you're layering. And then if you want to go a little bit darker and mute it a little bit more, go on ahead and dab in your brown just a little bit and then mix it back in. That's why I said a little bit, because it's gonna really darken up that orange, but it's okay. Water. Mix it in with a little bit more water, therefore it's not as dark. And even if you want, you can go off to the side to test your color. Now for me, that's just a little too dark, but it's fine. So you can either A, add more water, or B, add more yellow in. Me personally, I'm just gonna add in some more water to test it on to the side. And then honestly, I'm okay with that. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna bring the back petals to life. Let's zoom in a little bit. So where we shaded our petals on the sides, our parentheses, you're gonna take your brush and you're just gonna glide alongside. Glide alongside. So now those back petals are darker than your front petal, which if you're looking at a normal flower, the way a light hits anything, the surface that is towards the light is going to shine more, and objects that are behind the light are going to be shadowed. And if you want to be more specific, you can use the tip of your brush. Just go in a little bit more. This is the beauty part about watercolors, the layering and how naturally it blends in. And if you want, you can make another petal. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm done with the orange. I'm gonna rinse my brush off in my jar, and we're gonna go in with the red now. Red base. Zoom back out. There we go. All right, red base. Dilute it with some water. Now with the red, we did mix in orange. So we're gonna go back in with our orange. We're gonna mix that in. Again, make sure you have as much water on your brush as you possibly can when you're mixing your colors. You just don't want your color to be so strong when you put it on the paper, which is really good to test it out on the side. Let's see. I'm actually really happy with that. I like that. Okay. We're gonna go in. Now with this, I'm just gonna use the tip of my brush because the petals are more angular towards the bottom versus this is more of a curved shape on the bottom. Take the tip of my brush. Just like that. Okay, what I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna go back to my red. I'm just gonna pick up a little bit more of that color. I'm just gonna go back in those edges, or the crevices, just to make that a little bit sharper. This is really how you control the watercolor. You use the tip of your brush to just guide the watercolor. Okay, rinsing my brush off. And again, I'm going to do the same thing to the other flowers. I'm not really going to do much explaining. Pick up some blue. And to get that turquoise color, I picked up green and mixed it together. And again, this is the importance of having a white base when you're mixing colors, and it doesn't just have to be watercolors. Okay. And test it on the side here. Going with a little bit more green and no water. And actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to rinse off my brush and just have water on my brush. And I'm just going to blend in with water. And then to pick up some of the excess water, rinse your brush off, dry it off on your paper towel, and then go in and then just pick it up. Okay, we're going to do the other flower. Color wasn't as strong on this one, but it's okay. I'm not too worried about it. Rinse off my brush, dry it off with your paper towel, and then pick up some of that color if you want. So really, I'm just grooming each flower the way I want it to blend in. If you want something to blend in, then you'd have nothing but water on your brush and you just literally blend it between the color that's duller and the color that is more saturated with color, and that means that it's just more potent with color. Okay, so now we're gonna go in with our stems. So for that color, again, I took some green. Let's see, you guys can't really see. I took green, and then I took a hint of brown and mixed it together. And I'm probably gonna put a little bit more brown in there just to get that muted color. Okay. And then again, I'm going to use the tip of my brush to control the watercolor and just make a straight line. Really just on top of the first layer of watercolor that was already there. Put a little bit more brown on there. Mix it and go back in. Just makes it a little bit more darker. Okay, so I'm gonna let the second layer dry and then we'll be back. All right. We've done our second layer, it is dry. Now we're gonna go in with our last layer, if that is what you so choose. For this tutorial, it will be the final layer. Okay, so one thing we have to keep in mind when we are using watercolors, we get it to look 3D by the layering. So the first layer, water-based for the most part. Second layer, still water-based, but a little less water. So I'm pretty sure you can guess. The third layer is going to be more color and less water. So rinse off your brush. We're going to start with our orange flower. Again, pick up some orange. Mix it in there. And it's good that you already had your dried up watercolor at the bottom from the first 2 layers, because that means you can just reuse it by activating it with water. So we put more orange in there. It's still darkened. Okay, zoom in. I'm just lightly going over it. Adding more 3D dimension to it. Pick up some more orange actually. I'll go in. I'm even like going behind the flowers and making more petals by adding more parentheses. Wash off my brush, pick up some more color, and go in and blend it in. Do the same thing with the red, pick up some red. Picked up some more red, just so I can make this front petal stand out more. That's really it. The third layer doesn't require that much more emphasis. At this point, we're just adding details. Picked up some blue. Pick up some green, that turquoise color. Again, we're not using as much water because we really want the color to show and stand out when we're adding our third layer. That really doesn't stand out. There we go. Okay, now for this next step, we're gonna go back with the stem color. So again, you're gonna pick up some green, mix it in, and then you're gonna pick up brown and mix it in. Green and brown for that muted stem color for the flowers. And we're gonna add more brown in it than green this time because we really want that dark color to stand out. This is honestly when you create the 3D look. So instead of like outlining the stem some more, I actually need to put more watercolor on that. Instead of outlining the stem more, I'm just gonna go in and use that color to add more harsh lines. And add more texture to the watercolor, or to the flower, not the watercolor. And when you do this, it makes it more realistic. Because when you look at a flower, it's not just 100% red or 100% orange. You know, like when you look closely and you really study it, there's a mixture of colors. that make up that flower. Again, I'm just adding details at this point. You can even add more like petals to it if you want. It doesn't even have to be colored in with a watercolor. It can just be like this random petal and you just drew off to the side. Okay, so really that's it. I know on camera it looks a little bit darker and a little bit harsher than what it is. So at the end of the video there will be a final picture of there will be a picture of the final product when it's nice and dry. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks so much for watching our webisodes and I hope to see you next week with Bob Shell on Whimsical Wednesday. Bye.